top stories for the hour. Italy reaffirmed commitment to support Ethiopia's government efforts in restoring war-ravaged areas. IMF says China is projected to contribute one-third of world economic growth in 2020. Hello and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching at this news hour with the news. I'm Biniam Gitana. Thank you for joining us. Now, the news in full. Do stay tuned. Water and Energy Minister Habtamu Etefa said Ethiopia has a firm belief in a genuine transboundary cooperation and fair utilization of Nile waters in a bid to create a peaceful and integrated region. The minister made the remark at the UN 2023 Water Conference held recently in New York. He stated that Ethiopia advocates the ratification of the Cooperative Framework Agreement among Nile riparian countries so that the equitable and reasonable water utilization is guaranteed. Ethiopia has been addressing the issue of both downstream and upstream countries and advocating for the conclusion of an agreement that is guided by international laws and norms. According, we are pushing for the fair utilization of Nile waters as it has paramount importance in transforming the relations of the riparian countries to cooperation and partnership instead of hesitation and confrontation. Habtamu called on Nile Basin countries to incorporate the CFA into their respective laws and ensure development and establish better cooperation among others. According to the minister, in the Green Legacy Initiative, Ethiopia planted over 25 billion seedlings during the past 3 years and preserved the seedlings to conserve the land and increase forest coverage. And Italian ambassador to Ethiopia, Ambassador Agostino Palesi, expressed Italy is ready to assist rehabilitation efforts of conflict-affected areas of Ethiopia. He also said that the Ethiopian government has a very difficult task and Italy is willing to assist the peace process. Tigisir has compiled the following file from ENA. Take a look.
It is to be recalled that the federal government and TPLF agreed on 2 November 2022 to permanently silence the guns and end the 2-year bloody conflict in northern Ethiopia. Since then, the federal government has been taking various measures, including restoring basic services and delivering of humanitarian assistance to the region. Talking to Ethiopian news agency, Ambassador Palsei said it has to be stayed on track and need to see the final target and come to an end to the problem. In this respect, Italy is ready to assist rehabilitation efforts through bilateral cooperation agreement. He further added that Italy will try to intervene all over the country through various programs. According to the ambassador, Ethiopian and Italian authorities had discussions to learn about the approach of Ethiopian authorities and to work together towards improving humanitarian situation in the country. The ambassador noted that political inclusiveness is one way to go forward.
I think that many things I've done, but we have to continue on the, on the framework of the dialogue. This is the only way to go forward, and I think the government has many challenges to cope. The next step will be to have an inclusive dialogue with all over Ethiopia, and in order to solve the problem, with the political dialogue. Political dialogue, political inclusiveness is the only way to go forward. I don't see other option.
Stating the importance of assistance and collaboration in the Horn, the ambassador noted that Italy is working on the forefront in the Horn of Africa within United Nations to have additional funds for Africa.
And we push always, with the international organization, to help Ethiopia in this difficult moment, especially on humanitarian sector and even on rehabilitation of the infrastructure.
Following the delisting of TPLF from terrorist organization, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed appointed Getachew Reda as Tigray interim administration on last Thursday.
That was Tigist Nissa, and moving to another development, a high-level public-private dialogue on private sector investment in electricity and infrastructure development in Africa will take place next week in Addis Ababa. The high-level meeting, organized by the Economic Commission for Africa, ECA, in collaboration with Risk for African Foundation, will be held from 28 to 13 March 2023 in Addis Ababa. The high-level public-private dialogue will gather private and public stakeholders supporting the development of Africa's infrastructure and engage in policy dialogue on what is needed to advance Africa's electricity sector reform agenda and ensure adequate investment flows towards this sector, according to ECA. According to the Ethiopian news agency, the dialogue will be an opportunity to discuss the main findings from the UNESA and Risk for Africa supported national electricity market regulatory reviews. It is also expected to trigger forward-looking conversation about how policy and regulatory environments can ensure adequate openness, attractiveness, and readiness of African electricity markets to crowd in private investments and deliver on Agenda 2033 and SDG 7 targets. Raise Africa's renewable energy solution for Africa is a foundation that works in support of Africa's just energy transition in order to achieve the SDG 7, ensuring access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. In our business segment, Ethiopian Capital Market Authority has finalized preparation to award license to capital market service providers over the coming 6 months. Director General of the Ethiopian Capital Market Authority, Brooke Taye, said entities which have fulfilled the necessary requirements and criteria will be awarded the license based on the guidelines put in place by the National Bank of Ethiopia and will commence operation in the coming 3 to 6 months. Accordingly, regulatory guidelines and directives have been prepared for investors in other entities eligible to participate in the capital market, he added. It is to be recalled that Ethiopia had approved the Capital Market Establishment Proclamation in 2021 to provide the legal foundation for the development of capital markets in the country, according to ENA. Meanwhile, buyers and sellers in Addis Ababa complaining of the unprecedented price hike on dates following the beginning of Ramadan fasting season. Muslims used dates to break their fast during Ramadan at dusk for their amazing nutritional properties and energy. Shagawi Mato has the full story. Take a look.
Sarmola Nur is a merchant selling dates in the Mercato area, the largest open-air market in Africa, particularly around the Grand Anwar Mosque. Nur is the breadwinner of his family, selling dates for slightly over a decade. However, this March Muslims greeted the start of the month-long Ramadan season faced with the soaring prices of dates, one of the most frequented fast-breaking snacks. For the likes of Nur, the price hike seems an unwelcome development as it negatively affects their business.
The price of dates has shown quite a shocking rise. It jumped overnight from 1,950 to 3,000 birr. It means we have to sell it with a significant change of price. We don't see any problem with the supply side of the market, but the price hike is a huge turn off for our customers.
Noor's complaints are shared by other sellers approached by ETV.
I remember selling a kilogram of dates for as low as 120 birr during the previous Ramadan season. The price has now soared to a whopping 320 birr. The price hike is unreasonable. Before the start of the Ramadan, the price of dates was lower, but as soon as the fasting season began, the price skyrocketed.
Consumers, for their part, complained of the price hike in dates as being unfair.
Now I have as many as 10 employees in my administration. I bought these dates for them, but they won't last for even fortnights. A carton box of dates used to cost 1,000 birr, but it now went as far as 3,000 birr. This undoubtedly is unfair.
In other development, the Belarus-based companies engaged in automotive industry have expressed interest in manufacturing in Industrial Park of Ethiopia. The Chief Executive Officer of Industrial Park Development Corporation of Ethiopia, Aklilu Taddese, conferred with Belarus-based companies that manufacture cars and engine parts for mining as well as medical equipment. According to IDPCO, Aklilu Taddese received the representatives of the companies in his office and assured IPD's continuous support to make their investment reality. According to IPD's detailed information regarding the investment-oriented service provided by IPD's the state-of-the-art industrial park it has built, as well as investment initiatives, incentives and favorable conditions have been provided to the companies, according to FANA. The companies on their part have also provided information about their investments and the work they intended to do. IPDs added, it is stated that the companies will continue to carry out pre-investment activities that will enable them to start production in industrial parks. You're still watching at this news hour, and as the news continues, IMF head says China to contribute a third to global growth in 2023 with a robust rebound. Kristalina Georgia, speaking on the second day of the annual forum held in Beijing, referred to the solid economic recovery in China as green shoots in the world economy. She put her remark at the China Development Forum 2023 on Sunday. Daniel Casson has compiled the full story. Take a look.
China, which is seeing a strong rebound in economy, is said to account for around a third of global growth in 2023. The head of the International Monetary Fund said in a speech delivered to the China Development Forum 2023 on Sunday. Kristalina Georgieva, speaking on the second day of the annual forum held in Beijing, referred to the solid economic recovery in China as green shoots in the world economy, which is currently afflicted by scarring from the pandemic, geoeconomic fragmentation and financial stability risks.
China has gone from zero COVID policy to openness very swiftly. And what we see is that the easing of COVID restrictions is already producing a new momentum for growth in China. Chinese consumers have accumulated massive savings. They're now let go, and with this, the engine of growth in China is restarted.
Georgieva pointed out that China's recovery gives a welcome lift to the world economy, saying that according to IMF analysis, a 1 percentage point increase in China's GDP growth leads to a 0.3 percentage point increase in growth in other Asian economies on average. Driving this growth is the anticipated rebound of private consumption as the economy has reopened and activity has normalized. In January, the IMF upgraded its growth projection for China in 2023 to 5.2%, up from its October forecast of 4.4%.
Of course, we know it from experience elsewhere that COVID leads to people staying home. And as a result, production goes down. This is the reason why we are projecting better growth in China, but far from their historic average.
Georgieva also laid out several policy suggestions for China's growth down the road in her speech, emphasizing on rebalancing the economy away from investment and more towards consumption-driven growth and the importance of green growth. She said this will help China achieve growth that is both higher quality and more inclusive. With such a solid recovery, China can now build on positive momentum and through comprehensive policies stay on the growth path towards convergence with advanced economies, she said.
Every year, people from all around the world participate in a global event known as Earth Hour, which aims to raise awareness about the challenges of the climate change and promote energy conservation. In this context, Earth Hour event held across countries as a symbol of commitment to the planet. Landmarks in Malaysia, Sweden, Australia, and Philippines, among others, went dark on Saturday night to mark this year's Earth Hour, a worldwide movement organized by the World Wildlife Fund. The event is held annually, encouraging individuals, communities, and business to turn off non-essential electric lights for 1 hour on the last Saturday of March as a symbol of commitment to the planet. And now recap of the top stories once again. Italy reaffirmed commitment to support Ethiopia's government effort in restoring war-ravaged areas. And IMF says China is projected to contribute 1/3 of world economic growth in 2023. You'll be watching at this news hour with me, Biniam Gitana, along with the technical staff. Thank you for watching this. Have a blessed and lovely time. Goodbye for now.